Hello, folks. As you know, I love cars, but I also love to travel. But it might not come as a surprise to you that I like to travel and get the best possible travel experience, spending the smallest amount of money. I did a little short video last year when I went to Palma for a couple of days with my mate from Birmingham, and literally got return flights to Palma from Bournemouth, had 2 nights in a 4-star hotel, and it cost me less than a return train fare to London. Well, this is one of the tools that I use to do that, and it's completely free and everyone has access to it, and it's Google Flights. I'm going to jump on there in a second and give you a quick demonstration of how to get the best deal. But this is something I've been thinking about doing for a little while, is possibly doing a spin-off sort of travel channel, which is getting good deals on travel, basically, wherever you want to go. If anyone might be interested in that and seeing some more travel content from me, just answer yes in the comments. Don't put anything else, just yes. And that will give me a rough idea if there is an audience for it or not. If not, I'll stick to the car stuff. Right, let's crack on. So here we are, we're on Google Flights, and all you have to do is Google Flights and it will bring you to this page. Now, there are a few little things that are worth noting. Basically, you'll get the best deal you can if you're as open and flexible as possible to the dates of travel. And that doesn't mean you can't go in August or something. It just means you might have wanted to go on the Saturday and it might be loads cheaper to go on the Sunday or the Monday or the Friday or whatever it may be. That's key to this. If you want to save the most money you can, the more flexible you are, the more money you'll save generally. It's very rare that the dates you want to go exactly sort of marry up and you get the fantastic deal on that day. But it's still very possible to travel at really quite peak times for very little. On the 1st of July, I'm going to Palma in Mallorca, coming back a couple of days later, and it's costing me 40 quid direct from Bournemouth Airport, which is an hour's walk from my front door. So there are real deals to be done, even in the summer months at sort of fairly popular resorts. So let's have a look at this and have a little bit of a dive around. So I'm going to say we're going from London, and instead of picking a specific London airport, I'm just going to say London and leave it at that. Now at this stage, we've got it set to a round trip in economy class for one person, and I'm not going to put anything else in. So I'm not going to give it any dates or anything else. And this is giving me round trip results for a 1 week trip within the next 6 months. We can change that to a weekend. So let's do that. Let's say a weekend trip in the next 6 months. And let's make it even more challenging. We'll say we want to do a weekend trip in August. Okay. And we only want direct flights. So we'll put non-stop only in. Milan, 49 quid. So weekend trip in July to Milan from London, 45 quid. Venice, 61. Barcelona, 66. So let's click on that Barcelona one. It's Ryanair, surprise, surprise, from Stansted. Now you'll see here that doesn't include carry-on luggage, but that's not as bad as it sounds. I use Ryanair regularly and I never pay for a bag generally, unless we're going on like a 2-week family holiday. If it's just me going somewhere, same with EasyJet, you know, if I'm going over to Geneva Motor Show or something like that, and I'm going to be there for a couple of days, I'll show you what I got. I got this bag from Amazon. It's quite a decent sized bag, but importantly, when you measure it, it's perfect for Ryanair's very strict sizing policy. Okay, now there's a space in the back here for a laptop. There's a compartment there. You've then got a decent sized compartment for clothes and things. You've got another compartment in the front, another zip here. You can get really quite a lot of gear into that. It's about 20 quid from memory. I've got that and I've used that on Ryanair flights and EasyJet flights with no problems whatsoever. And that's not classed as a carry-on bag. That's called your, I don't know, personal luggage or something. Whatever it is you're allowed, that's it. And it's that size. I'll put a link to it in the video description and pin it to the top comment so that you can find it in case you want to get one. I've used it loads of times now, no problems whatsoever. And that's probably saving me 60 quid every time I do a round trip, at least. It is possible to book a usable Ryanair flight and not pay for any extras at all. I've done it plenty of times and I'll do it plenty of times more. And that little bag is part of the reason why. So after that small digression, we're back to it. Here's the Ryanair flight for 66 quid. Not the best times in the world, but you could pay a bit more and get better flight times if you wanted. It's just one example I've brought up, a bit of a naff one by the looks of it. I probably wouldn't book that one, in fairness, because of those flight times. But you get the idea. It's an easy way to just quickly see where you can go for a very limited budget. And then just book a hotel separately. You've got places like booking.com, hotels.com. Those kind of sites are fantastic. I use them all the time when I'm traveling around the country, this country, for car launches and that kind of stuff. I literally just go on hotels.com or Premier Inn or something and book something there. But I've just booked to go to the LA Auto Show again. And the flights, by the way, I used Google Flights to find those. Direct from London to LAX, return 415 quid. Not too bad. And I've just gone to hotels.com for the accommodation. Works really well, nice and simple, no issues with that. There are loads of other places you can go to get cheap hotels as well, though. We've got Milan here, 45 quid for a weekend. If you can get yourself a hotel for sort of 80 quid a night, you could be looking at 2 adults for a weekend in Milan for 250 quid. That's not too bad, is it? Then let's look at a week in October. Where can we go from London for a week in October? Barcelona's 41 quid, Rome 52, Istanbul 84, Krakow 58, Warsaw 41, Hamburg 47 quid. If we go across the Atlantic, where can that get us? Orlando 367 quid return, Miami 359 quid return, 480 quid return to San Francisco. What about Canada? Let's have a look at it. Montreal 375 quid, New York 406. So there are bargains to be had. But folks, if you're the kind of person that usually just gives it to a travel agent and pays the price and that's the end of that, that's all well and good. That's great. And you might have some peace of mind from doing it that way. But if you want to save a few quid, and certainly if you want to look at perhaps doing some travel that you otherwise wouldn't have done, had you not known it was so cheap, it's a great way to do it. Edinburgh return, 34 quid. You know, possibly instead of going to the cinema and having a bite to eat afterwards this weekend, go and have a night in Edinburgh and come back again. If you haven't been to Edinburgh before, it's a nice place. Interesting, different. You know, great experiences to be had with travel. And I think the cheaper you can do it, the more of those experiences you can have. One thing I would say is Google Flights is just one tool. The reason I tend to go to Google Flights first is because it's so quick. But some of the other tools out there, things like Skyscanner, etc., I'll link to that in the video description as well. They'll sometimes have lower prices because they'll go to loads of different travel agents and things, where Google generally just goes direct to the airlines. Now, it is preferential to book directly with an airline, really, unless there's a huge saving by going through a travel agent of some kind, an online travel agent. I would certainly book direct with the airline, simply because if there's an issue, the flight gets cancelled, anything like that, it's going to be much easier for you to get served as a customer of the airline than it is possibly to get served as a customer of Expedia or whoever else it might be. Not always going to be the case, but for peace of mind, it's worth going direct if you can. Hope you've enjoyed that video, folks. This is just a really brief look at it. I'm aware that this is such a random thing for me to put on my channel, and I'm really just putting it out there to see if it's something you'd be interested in seeing more of. And if you are, I'd probably do that on a separate channel so as not to muddy the highly diluted waters that you get on my motoring channel as it is. I'm aware that my channel's already got probably too much different content. I've got leasing stuff, I've got used car stuff, I've got car news, I've got reviews, all that kind of stuff. So there's probably enough different content on there already without throwing sort of travel into the mix. So if it is something you like, I would almost certainly do it on a separate channel, and just say yes in the comments if that's something you'd be interested in. Thanks for watching, folks. I'll see you on the next one.